All right, today we got a commercial, well, we've got part of a commercial. We get our commercial node tree fired up. And we know that this was shot Leica of all cameras. So that's back 2020 and then Leica L-Log. All right, and we are going to apply it to every shot since it's all Leica. And cool, we've got a pretty good starting place here. It actually looks pretty good for a low budget. But all right, so let's see what we can do here. So first of all, let's balance these exposures. We've got a guy here in front of a door. We are not clipping the door, and we've got our female actress here. Very nice. So our guy is down a little bit, so let's bring him up. And then we'll just keep an eye on that door, or outside the door rather. Make sure we aren't clipping in it, but just get these, just want to get these exposures between their two faces a little closer. And this is a commercial. I think we want to be up in the high 70s on the key. And that looks pretty good on both of them. That's the same shot. Copy that over. Okay, cool. So I think what we can do here is get a little color boost going on here. Bring a little life into the skin. Copy that to that shot. And how's our actress looking here? Good. Let me give her a little bit of life too. And we might be able to drop this side of the hallway. I don't know in terms of shape there, but let's get a little bit of contrast. Just a little bit. Let's get this popping a little bit. Do the same for our guy here. Copy that over. All right, let's try to break down the right side of this a little bit. Let's just see what happens. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but the idea here is because her screen right, her left side of her face is at key, this wall is also kind of at key, so it flattens out. Doesn't really make her like pop out. So I just want to see what we can do without it looking too strange, just to bring her out a little bit. As far as the grad goes, that's what we're doing here. I think it helps bring her out a little bit. And then we should do something to shape this a little bit as well. He's got a nice contrast ratio, but you can typically be a little bit more aggressive on with the guys than the gals. And I'm wondering with that grad, can we bring some color separation in, or maybe some richness into that wall? It's going a little green. Let's just kick it. I'm thinking that's pretty good. Just to get in and get out of here real quick. Let's pull her out a little bit. Knock this down to 12. That'd be a good place to start. And she moves around a bunch, so I'm not going to bother tracking it because that could end up looking strange. Set this to an offset and just bring her up. Lower the contrast ratio on her, and that's okay. Yeah, I think that just brightens it up a little bit. And then on his shots, I think we can probably bring down the right-hand side just to give the right side of that frame a little balance. Let's see if we can just do a quick quick face refinement on her. Not that she needs it, but you know what? Little touches, they help. And sometimes it's just a little bit of polish on an otherwise really good looking image that just takes it up that last, 5-10%. Let's give her a little bit of an highlight. It's going to brighten her face a little bit. That's without, that's with. You can see it just gives a little spark to the eye. All right, so moving on, this is later in the commercial. Already looks relatively decent, but let's get a little contrast in there. Bring some richness into this. And I think that's probably the same shot, yeah. Do that. There we go. So I think we might have to, yeah, it looks like there's a difference in the exposure here. If we look at the wall behind, we're kind of in that 45-50 range here, and in the closer frame we're a little darker. So let's bring that up to match a little bit more closely. There we go. And I think we're going to need to add some contrast to that. But let's just see how we're looking. Yeah, that feels so much better already. Put some contrast back in. Yeah, much closer, as you can tell. That's probably the same shot. There we go. Yeah, it's great. Our actress looks good. All colors look accurate. So if we look at these four, might just bring up the highs just a touch on this shot, on that frame right. Yeah. I'm going to do that with a grad, I think. Let's just bring this up. Play that sun up a little bit. It's subtle, but a lot of this type of work is very subtle. So let's get this fired up here. Rec 2020, L-log. I think I want to swing all of those yellows more towards the red value to make these look a little bit more orange. And I think we can probably do a little bit of a split. Not a split, but definitely add some blue into the shadow range. And some warm in the highs. There we go. Got a decent amount of reflected light on the top here, but I think we can probably knock that down. Kind of introduce the idea of a little darkness, which is going to frame them up pretty good. So I'm wondering if we just do a right grad on that, and we add some blue into that shadow. Let's take a range so that I'm not taking from the lamp itself. Yeah, I don't want to touch the light. Then I'm going to add some high soft in there. All right, let's add a little bit of cool into the shadows. Not much. Just enough. Okay, so that blue is off. There it is on. I think we might be doing the same thing at the bottom here. Let's just take a little bit of yellow out of it. There we go. All right, let's play that down. Really simple grade, but it looks nice. I think any stronger of a look on this and it would look weird. It would look out of place. So I'm pretty happy with this overall. There is no point in adding complexity for no reason. Oftentimes you just kind of get yourself into trouble. So simple is better. Simple is almost always better. You don't want your grade to become the thing that people notice, especially in a product commercial. You want the product to be what people notice about the commercial. All you're really doing in the color suite is making sure that you're honoring the photography, you're embellishing what needs to be embellished, you're knocking down what needs to be knocked down. You're probably going to get a lot of these in your career, and your client's always going to be happier when the product actually looks like the product and not some version of it where you have a really heavy look on it. You know, always remember, you're coming in at the tail end of the pipeline, right? So if you're at the tail end of the pipeline and they've been seeing this and getting all sorts of approvals and all that the whole way through, and you come in at the end and start putting some crazy look on this, they're going to be like, what the hell are you doing? Like, that's not what anything looks like. You know, we're trying to sell a product here. It's got to be color accurate at minimum. Don't be strong-handed. You know, the art of this, the skill of this is to get in here with as light a hand as possible, I would say, and leave with a happy client. And you're going to slowly build that reputation after every job, after every job, after every job that you do. You're going to build that reputation as a colorist that they can rely on, that's going to deliver color accuracy. It's your responsibility to understand that, like, this needs to be color accurate. You know, we're selling a product here. We're not selling a look. So you're just going to keep building that reputation as someone who's reliable. That's how you're going to build your portfolio, your book of business, and your client list. So keep that in mind. I'll catch you in the next one.